Writing a great book review can feel kind of tricky, right? But it's an amazing skill to have. Today, we're going to break it all down into a super simple, step-by-step formula that you can use for pretty much any book you ever read. Okay, picture this. You just finished an amazing book. The story is buzzing around in your head. But when you sit down to write, all you see is a blank page. And if it's for school, that pressure can feel even worse. Well, don't worry, you are definitely not alone. And we are about to make this whole process a lot easier.
So, to make this super practical, we're not just going to talk about how to do it. We're actually going to build a review together, right here, from the ground up. And for our case study, we're using a true masterpiece of Nepali literature, the epic poem Muna Madan.
So here's the game plan. We'll start with the absolute basics. Then we'll dig a little deeper with some analysis. After that, we'll craft our final verdict. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at why our example, Muna Madan, is just so timeless. Sound good? Let's do it. Okay, first things first. Every great review needs a solid foundation. This is where you hook your reader right from the start and give them all the essential info they need to know. Let's break down how to nail that intro. It's actually super simple. Your opening paragraph just needs to hit these 4 key points. Tell us the title, who wrote it, what kind of book it is, and then just add one sentence that sums up your overall feeling about it. If you get this right, you've set the perfect stage for the rest of your review. So let's see how this works with our example. The title, Muna Madan. The author, Laxmi Prasad Devkota. The genre, it's a narrative poem. And our first impression, it's a deeply moving and ultimately tragic story. And boom, just like that, you've got your opening. All right, next up is the summary. And listen, the golden rule here is a big one. Give context, but no spoilers. You want to get your reader interested, not ruin the ending for them. So introduce the main players, tell us where the story happens, and what the big problem is. And most importantly, keep it short and to the point. See? For Muna Madan, a great summary would look something like this. It introduces us to Madan and Muna, it sets the scene from Nepal to Lhasa, and it lays out that core conflict, Madan's search for money versus his love for his family. It gives you just enough to get hooked without giving away the whole story. Okay, now for the fun part, the analysis. This is where you get to go beyond just what the book is about and start talking about what it all means. We're going to dig into the characters, the big ideas, and even the author's writing style. This is where you really show you've thought about the book. So, let's start with the characters. Muna, for instance, isn't just a wife. They call her the Queen of Love and Sacrifice. She stands for devotion and those traditional values. And then you have Madan. He's not just some guy chasing money. He actually represents a whole generation of young people in Nepal who felt forced to leave home to find work. It's that clash inside him and between them that really drives the whole story. So, beyond the plot, what is this story really about? Well, Muna Madan is packed with huge ideas. Sure, it's a love story, but it's also a really sharp commentary on social issues like poverty. It even challenges the caste system and makes you think about the struggle between old school values and the modern desire for money. And this quote, wow, it really gets to the heart of the book's powerful message. In the story, Madan gets sick and is left behind by his friends, but he's saved by a man from a so-called lower caste. This line right here was a radical idea at the time, arguing that what makes a person great has nothing to do with their background, but everything to do with their heart. And what about the way it's written? The style. This is where Devkota did something, well, truly revolutionary for his time. You have to remember, back then, most Nepali literature used this very complex, formal language that only the highly educated could understand. But he wrote Muna Madan in a simple folk rhythm that everybody knew. He basically made sure this powerful story could be understood and felt by absolutely everyone. And just listen to the raw emotion here. This is Muna begging Madan not to go. Even translated, the language is so simple, so direct, but it carries so much emotional power. This is the kind of thing you can point to in your review to talk about the author's style. All right, you've laid the groundwork, you've done the deep dive, now it's time to bring it all home with your verdict. This is the part where you state your own opinion loud and clear and tell people whether they should spend their time reading this book. Look, if you want your opinion to really land, you gotta be specific. Don't just say, it was good or I didn't like it. Tell us why. Was it because the characters felt so real, or maybe the ending felt rushed? Whatever your take is, back it up with examples from the book. That's what makes your opinion credible. So, for Muna Madan, our recommendation might sound a little something like this. First, Who's it for? Well, anyone who loves a powerful story about love and loss. And why should they read it? Because the author uses simple, beautiful language to tell a universal story that honestly anyone can connect with. See? Clear, specific, and helpful.
So, to wrap this all up, let's ask one last question. Why does this book still matter? Why are we still talking about a poem written way back in the 1930s? Thinking about a book's legacy is a great way to add that final thoughtful layer to your review.
I mean, this quote from the author himself, it's just so powerful. Laxmi Prasad Devkota was a literary giant. He wrote tons of amazing things. But he said that Madan was the one piece that truly mattered to him, the one that came from his heart, and the one he hoped would last. And you know what? He was absolutely right. Madan went on to become the best-selling Nepali book of all time. It completely changed the game, proving that literature wasn't just for the elites. It could be for everybody, telling stories about regular people in language they could understand, about lives they could recognize. And there you have it. That's your toolkit for writing an awesome book review. You've got the simple structure, a solid intro, a summary that doesn't spoil anything, a smart analysis, and a confident verdict. You are totally ready to write about any book that comes your way. At the end of the day, writing a review isn't just about a grade or an assignment. It's about sharing a piece of a story that meant something to you. It's about keeping the conversation going. So go grab that next book on your list, use these tools, and get ready to share your voice. So, what story are you going to tell?